Jordi, the offensive balance that you guys had on display tonight, how much of that, in your mind, came from kind of the hot start that you guys had? And how much of it was, I guess, finding ways throughout the game to maintain when they made runs?
Yeah, I mean it's never perfect, and I think you said it is like keep fighting and keep responding to their punch and punch back. And I think different guys were big at different times, right? Like Mike got it going, Noah made good shots. I think the playmaking, especially in the first half, with 15 assists, well, and 14 in the second half. Like I think we spaced the floor well, that's good to see. CT in the second half. So it's good to have different guys scoring because that tells you that you're harder to guard. So credit to our guys trying to make that simple play. We shot 15 corner threes, which is a lot of them, and that's a good sign.
With Noah, obviously the numbers jump off the page tonight compared to what it's been over the last 5, 6, 7. But what have you thought of kind of his process throughout after a really good stretch? He struggles for the first time in a little while and now bounces back tonight.
I mean, that's who Noah is. He'll always fight back. We believe in him. He always works and tries to do the right things. He's hard on himself. And like you said, maybe he had a couple games where he wanted to be better, but I still believe that he'll come back, and I still want him to shoot the ball. I still want him to drive the ball and keep growing his game. And today I thought, you see the numbers and the line is great, but that winning play at the end where we turn it over and then he got a block and the ball bounced out of the other player's head, that's unbelievable. And those are the plays to me are the most important is winning plays. And those usually happen defensively, after something bad happens, like a turnover. And that's we have to keep preaching those plays, and that was unbelievable.
I know you touched on it a little bit before the game. When asked about MPJ, you said you were confident that he would come out and play well on both ends of the court. Did you get the vibe that this game did mean a lot to him and that it meant something for his teammates to win it for him?
I think it means a lot to him because he's been there for a long time, and he's got a lot of people that he shared the locker room for a long time. Probably more of a question for him than for me, but I'm very happy for the group. I'm very happy for Michael.
Jordi, Cam was scoreless on one shot in the first half, and then he finished, I think, at 17 on 9 shots in the second half. Was there something said to him or a message that led to that kind of flip in mentality?
No, I thought that he kept making the right play because they were blitzing him, and every time they blitzed him, he got the ball to the open man, and we were finding the right shots. Once again, we got to the half with 15 assists, and a lot of times when you get blitzed and you find the player in the middle, you don't get the assist because the ball goes to the middle to the corner, whatever the case may be. But you've created that, and I thought that Cam's impact in the game was big in the first half because he was unselfish and he created those shots, and big in the second because some of the things that he did, they couldn't blitz him, and he found himself into the rim. He found himself doing what he does, making tough shots. And like you said, he ended up with 17 points. Obviously the plus minus doesn't really make a lot of sense, as you guys know, but everything was positive. There's a few things defensively that could have been better as a group, but I thought those two halves were like he did the right thing for the team in the first half, passing the ball out of the blitzes. He was aggressive and scored in the second, so it's a perfect balance.
And then with Day'Ron, he's kind of been a guy who, with Nick's, really efficient start to the season, the minutes have been kind of low, but continues to produce in his opportunities, says all the right things. Now he's gotten this opportunity and looked really good in the last 2 games. Just what can you say about his attitude and what he's been able to do on the court with this expanded minutes the last 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, Day'Ron is always willing to do the right things, and expanding his minutes, it's not always easy because you have to play through, the load is much higher. But you see the 4 assists to 1 turnover. We play through him. His efficiency. He's been very, very good. Obviously, we miss Nick, but these games and these minutes he's shown growth. and those are the positive steps that we need. And I can only say great things, but on both ends, he was the anchor defensively today from the beginning on those blitzes with Jamal, and he was awesome.
Throughout this season, you guys had been at your best when you guys held opponents to like 110 points, 105 points. But how encouraging is it to see you guys win a game like this that was basically a shootout from the beginning?
I kind of disagree because they scored, if my math is correct, 52 points in the first half. So I think defensively right there. Now in the second, probably by the numbers here, 63 points is not what you want to allow, but we also scored 68. So we won both halves. We got to be better defensively. If finding ways to score is also important. We have guys like Noah, CT, and Mike that we know they can score. And then we have these other guys like Dayron that today finished with 17, Yegor, Zaire. So it's just good, just making the right play. Like I said, finding 15 corner threes was important with the way we needed to space the floor and, have those shots to the rim instead of turnovers. 10 turnovers is a really good number. We still won less points than turnovers. That means that they create less than 1 point per possession out of the turnovers, but that was not the case. That could have been better.
How much do you feel like Dayron's varied skill set? He can play at the hub, short roll, and then on defense he can play different coverages. How valuable is that skill for your center to have? Do you feel like?
Yeah, and he keeps getting better and growing. And once again, like Nick and him, I think the work that Juwan Howard has done with them, obviously somebody who's done it at the highest level ever, it's priceless. And you just see how these guys keep growing, keep growing and getting better. And a lot of times you need a little bit of tough love. Sometimes you need support. And I think Juwan has been amazing. Those guys now, you can see that how much they've grown. And where they at, and we still think that there's a lot more room to improve.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Dayron, congratulations on the win. Michael Porter Jr. just said that he had this game circled. As a group and a team, how much did you guys have this one circled too, and what was your kind of mindset to get it for him?
Well, coming in, he already told everybody to be locked in, so, we just wanted to rally as a team and help him get the dub for him.
The way that you guys were locked in throughout this game, what was the key and game plan wise that you guys were able to capitalize on?
Well, they missing the all-star Jokic, you know what I'm saying? So just locking in on Jamal and making everybody else on the team try to contribute to win. So that's really what the game plan was.
For you personally, with how hard you play and the stints that you're in there, just how have you managed playing the extended minutes, now playing 30, 32, whatever, and not having your energy dip, not having to, worry about fouls while you're trying to play longer stretches at a time and still be just as effective playing 30, 32 as you were playing 20, 21, 22?
Well, I've been in the league 5 years now, so just every summer, just every game, really, when I'm not playing a lot of minutes, running, lifting, just picking and choose. When I know I'm the only big, just picking and choosing my battles or when to go for a hard contest I know I can't get, or, when to go for the steal when I know I can't get in foul trouble. So it just came with maturity and learning as I've been in the league longer.
Dayron, a couple of weeks ago, you told us that you wanted to finish every paint touch with force. A couple weeks after saying that, a couple starts under your belt, where do you feel like you're at in that pursuit?
Still trying to do the same thing. I'm finishing the ball, but, I still want to dunk some of them shit. So I'm just trying to get that done for real.
On a similar question in terms of improvement and growth, where do you feel like you've grown as a decision maker and a passer? I know you love passing the ball and you've had a couple good ones tonight, but kind of making those decisions in the short roll, especially when other guys are getting attacked, and kind of gets to you there in the middle of the floor.
I just say patience. When I'm getting the ball, You know, like just I ain't got to go right away. I ain't got to just throw the ball to the first guy. You know, scanning the floor before I roll. You know, so just patience in general. So when I get the ball, you know, who under the basket? You know, if it's a little guy, I can go finish over him, or if it's an open guy in the corner, he wide open. You know, just making the right read with patience.
You obviously had a career best season last year. You got rewarded in the offseason with the contract, but with the way that Nick's been playing, you've still been behind him. And I think you've actually played a little bit less this year compared to last. Just what has your mindset been kind of leading up to this, you know, in terms of just producing the opportunity you're given and then now getting this extended opportunity?
I just feel like whenever I got an opportunity, I produce. So, you know, regardless, if I'm playing 13, if I'm playing 30, if I'm playing 48, you know, just be grateful for the opportunity. A lot of guys don't get, a lot of people in the world want this opportunity to play in the NBA, and you know, a lot of guys in the NBA still wait for the opportunity to play. You know, I was one of those guys my first 2-3 years of trying to get opportunity to crack some minutes, and you know, so I just take opportunity to be grateful for the minutes I do get, regardless if they low or they high.
This season, you know, similar to the past couple of seasons, you've been pretty efficient on a per minute basis. You know, with these last two starts, does your mind ever wonder of like where you stand in terms of like big men, like how good of a center you compare to your peers?
Well, you know, I know the stats say one thing, but to me, you know, I feel like I can compete with the best of them. You know, I feel like I done played against every big there is, you know, so I just feel like I compete with the best of them. That's how I feel.
Over the last few seasons, you know, first you talked about wanting to improve your body and conditioning, and you did that along with the defense. And this year you've talked about the finishing. Why do you think you're able to have these specific goals and achieve them? Like, is that a skill that you learned? Like, how are you guys able to go after these specific improvements?
I consider it routine. If you want to be great at anything, you got to have a routine. So just during the summertime, attacking it every day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, wherever, how many days it got to take or how much time it got to take, and just attacking it every day. You know, me and Jawan working on finishes around the basket every day, even during the season. And then the first couple of years when I wasn't playing, you know, every day I'm coming in getting shots. Every day I'm coming in working on mobility. Every day I'm coming in working on how to run, you know what I'm saying? So just working on the basics and the fundamentals of everything.
Thanks, David.
No problem.
Michael, with the, I guess, all of the history that you had with this team, how long did you have this one scheduled on your calendar, and how sweet did it feel to get a win?
Yeah, I think I mentioned in the summertime and at some point that I was excited for that first matchup against them. Really, since I've been traded and just how that whole thing kind of went down, I was looking forward to playing against those guys for sure. So it's been circled on my calendar for a minute. I probably felt a little bit more nervous for this one than a lot of other games. So it was fun though.
Hi, Michael. This is Simone from AA. This is Simone from AA Sports Connect Hong Kong. Congrats on the win. So you guys won the rebounding battle 44-33 and got contributions from 6 guys scoring in double figures. How did how did controlling glass help unlock that kind of like balanced offense tonight?
Yeah, you know, rebounding is part of our identity. We started off the season, I think, being the worst rebounding team in the NBA by far, and now we're, you know, becoming one of the best. So when we rebound the ball at a high level, we become pretty hard to beat. We got guys that can get on the offensive glass and defensive glass. So when that's a point of emphasis, then we typically play pretty good.
Michael, you're having an all-star caliber season. How has the Nets organization in general and Jordi Fernández in particular helped you get to this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when an organization believes in you and, you know, and they reiterate confidence, and there's positive attitudes and positive vibes, whether you win or lose or whether you have good games or bad games, that can change a whole player's production. It can change his confidence, especially as young players. You know, right now we got a lot of young players that are shooting the ball well, playing well, and that comes from a coach instilling confidence. And I think Jordi and the whole Nets organization does a great job instilling confidence in players. You know, it doesn't matter if you make or miss a shot. He's telling you keep shooting. You know, when we watch film, he'll probably get more upset with you if you didn't take a shot than if you did. So I think that when you're constantly hearing that message, it can really help your confidence as a player. So, I mean, I'm in year 7 or year 8, and I still feel the difference when a coach really believes in me and when, you know, they kind of second guess the shots you take. So I just think that Jordi and the whole Nets organization has done a great job of that with me and with the whole team.
Mike, when you're actually in it, playing against them for the first time, like, is it weird, the experience of it? Like, do you have any moments, like, going up against guys you had been around in a locker room on the court with for so long, where it kind of just strikes you the oddity of the experience?
Yeah, it was definitely an odd experience. I think Jamal mentioned it before the tip-off, like, yo, it's so weird, like, actually going against you instead of being with you, because, you know, those are my brothers. I was with those guys for so many years, and, you know, I was with those guys more than I was with my family every single day. We won a championship together, and there's a few of those guys over there that are some of my best friends. So to compete against each other instead of with each other is definitely a different experience, but it's the nature of the sport, and it's cool that you can have friendships outside of basketball as well, because those are still my guys.
In a game like this, Mike, where you even mentioned there's nerves, right? This is a game you've had circled. You're the number one option at the start of the game. How do you kind of try to avoid stepping out of your comfort zone or stepping out of your game, forcing stuff? It's kind of felt like, if you didn't know everything going on around it, that it was a pretty normal night for you.
Yeah, I think it's just a mindset, being able to tap into a mindset of being locked in. But they definitely were trying to take me away. I could tell early on in the game, some of my actions, you know, they guarded it a little bit different. They kind of were bringing, they were chasing me on the ball screen and bringing the big guy up to kind of trap me and get the ball out of my hands. So I think my mindset was just make the easy play. You know, I found the big man in the pocket a lot of times, and my teammates are continuing to just get better and better. And you know, we got a lot of capable guys on this team that can knock down shots. So I never feel like I have to force. And you know, I want to be aggressive, but I never feel like I need to force. I know Nolan, I know Yegor, I know T-Man, and you know, today Day, and really all the guys off the bench. We can all make big time shots. So definitely didn't feel the need to force.
Mike, David said before the game that he acknowledged that you sacrificed during your time there, but he said he felt that they used you the right way and that you'd probably disagree with that. But how satisfying has it been now to, you know, kind of step out of that complimentary role, get this opportunity, you know, thrive in it, and also get the recognition around the league for what you've been doing?
Yeah, I think whenever you have a team that talented, a championship caliber team, there's going to be guys that sacrifice. You know, and some of the shots, in some of the ways they probably could have used me, we had enough good players to where we could create a good shot in a different way. I didn't need to come off of a screen and be high usage in that way and shoot some of the tougher shots that I'm shooting here, which I can make, but over there, those may not be considered the most highest percentage compared to what we could get. So that's with every good team. But it is good, you know, to be able to kind of show what I'm capable of and kind of get some of the recognition of kind of, you know, it's tough as a player when you know what you can do and you are asked to do something different and then people criticize you for it. You know, people are all like, yeah, that can be tough. But it's part of the NBA, it's part of being adaptable, and it's part of being on a really good team for a lot of years. So just got to accept your role and do what the coach asks, whatever situation you're in.
You know, Day'Ron comes across as very free-spirited and fun and jovial, and yet it seems like he just works incredibly hard based on the improvements that he's made over his career. And I'm just wondering what you've seen from him as a teammate on the court, either the way he works or the way he is in the locker room, and what has made him maybe such just, you know, an effective player.
Yeah, no, Day is a beast. He's a starting five in the NBA, but we have two starting fives, Clax and him. So it's good that we can, when Clax is out, you can put Day in there and there's no drop off. I don't feel like they both can make passes. They both can, finish around the rim. They both rebound, they both defend. And Dede plays very, very hard, and we needed everything he gave tonight. He's a great locker room guy, and I'm very fortunate to be able to play on a team with two big men that are as good as him and Clax.
Mike, when you were drafted, I mean, obviously now you're scoring 26 points per game, but was that your expectation when you first got drafted? You're going to be that high of a scorer in the league?
I mean, my expectation when I got drafted, I didn't really know much about the injuries or how they would have an effect on my body, but my expectation was to be the best player in the NBA. And injuries, had its way with me, but I think determination and resilience has allowed me to be able to still carve out a pretty valuable space in the NBA and play a lot of years. But I think that was my expectation because I knew what I was capable of, and I played against really good players my whole life. And so what I'm doing now, it's not a shock to me. I think that doing it in the way that I'm doing it post-injury, I think that's a little bit more what I'm proud of than just what I'm doing, because it's not a surprise, but I have been through a lot in my career, and it does take a lot of hard work to stay resilient and to stay available and to try to be just available for most games considering the injury history. So I feel good, and I'm grateful that I get to play the game I love after everything.
Thank you.